Hi everyone, thank you for tuning into tonight's webinar where we're going to teach you as best as we can how we can turn your Emerald Laser, which I know quite a few of you have already made the investment in, into a revenue engine. And tonight I'm joined by Corinne Sawyers, who is the founder of PatientPerfect. Thank you for joining me. And
hello, so glad to join you.
Thank you. And for those of you who don't know me, my name's Vanessa and I have plenty of years experience in helping clinics across UK, Europe, the Middle East drive clinical results and commercial growth using the Erchonia lasers. I'm very au fait with the devices in our own clinic, VL Aesthetics, and we'll go into a case study as to how we've made it a success within VL Aesthetics. And Corinne and I, we crossed paths a few months ago, I think now. So Corinne, would you like to introduce yourself to everyone, please?
Yeah. So I don't actually have a background in aesthetics, but I've got a background, about 15 years experience in making businesses more effective, more profitable, run better. And then I started getting interested in aesthetics as a sector, invested in some clinics, was advising some clinics, and saw this big gap essentially to help. Saw them spending a lot of money on acquiring new clients and not really making the most of those clients once they have them. And so saw this opportunity to really build something which made practitioners and clinics owners' lives easier. So that's me. I'm really bringing other business experience into the sector, and I love it. I think it's such a fun sector. I think all the innovation's amazing.
Absolutely. And I think it's good to bring in experience from a different sector to help maximize how we can generate a return on investment from devices that we invest in. So today's agenda, so for the next 30 minutes, we're going to discuss the power and the potential of the Emerald Laser for those of you who have not yet invested in the Emerald Laser. We're also going to go through those gaps that a lot of clinics face that cost clinics thousands of pounds annually. We're going to obviously dive into what PatientPerfect is and how it can be a real great partnering tool for your clinic. Then we're going to run through some real world case examples, and then we will have a Q&A. So any questions, please put them in the chat box throughout so you don't forget them, and then we will answer them at the end of the presentation. So for those of you who have invested in the Emerald Laser, you will know that it's already delivering results when it comes to a clinical setting. But you need to be obviously delivering results from a commercial aspect as well. For those of you who are not au fait with the Emerald Laser, it is an FDA-approved body circumference reduction technology, the only device on the market where you can treat up to 40 BMI, and it has a whole host of different health and wellness benefits. It is completely non-invasive, pain-free, and there's no downtime. Speaking from experience with our clients and our customers across UK, Europe, and the Middle East, and even our own clinic, VL Aesthetics, we've had a massive high patient satisfaction rate with the Emerald Laser, and it's definitely one of the highest spoken about treatments that we offer in clinic. But we need to discuss how we can monetize this momentum. And I think one of the biggest things that I've always found, and I'm sure Corinne can probably elaborate and go into it in more detail, is we have been a big body contouring treatment for the big body contouring clinic for the last, I would say, about 6 years now. And one of the biggest things that we were facing is if you're looking at body contouring, if you're looking at inch loss, what happens when you get that patient the results that they're happy with? Quite often they'll go away and you will then have to kind of refill that bucket with a new patient. So the whole concept is, how do you get that person that's really satisfied with the results, but getting them continuously coming back on a monthly basis or a 6-weekly basis? So Corinne, I think this is where PatientPerfect fits in very, very nicely. And would you like to go into a little bit more detail as to how PatientPerfect can be a fantastic clinic partner to those clinics that are maybe, let's say, struggling with retention rates or are struggling with getting their patients to book back in for additional treatments? How does it all fit in really nicely together?
Yeah. So I'll just start by sort of seeing what we've observed, both kind of before we launched PatientPerfect and also in working with clinics and surveying clinics since we launched a year ago. This survey was from the autumn, where we surveyed 150 clinics on their marketing budget and kind of also an estimate on their marketing time. And roughly 88% was spent on new, what I call cold client acquisition. So that is a lot of money usually on Meta ads, Google ads, you know, Facebook, content, all of that. And that's great. You obviously need cold new clients. But there's these 4 other pillars of revenue growth that often get ignored. So one is retention. So are you holding on to your clients? And that's increasingly important, as many practitioners and clinic owners know, because the industry in the UK has got a lot more competitive, a lot more players. The second is cross-sell and upsell. So there's so much potential for this, because the industry, you know, 20 years ago, it was just Botox. Now there's so many incredible technologies like Emerald Laser, which can offer extraordinary health benefits, lifestyle benefits, and the clinics are not effectively upselling someone who might be coming in for an injectable, say, you know, 3 times a year, to some of these life-changing treatments, or even just a kind of a regenerative facial every 2 months. You know, there's so much potential to get basically average client spend up. The third is recurring revenue. So this is getting your clients onto memberships or subscriptions. So again, you know, something like Emerald Laser, if there's like a maintenance program of just, you know, get them in for a few sessions a year to maintain that healthy circumference, healthy weight, it's a perfect fit. And there's something that's really big in the US. You see a lot of really successful membership programs in the US, and it hasn't really taken off here in quite the same way. You know, I've got some thoughts on why, but when you get it working, you get your clients coming in more regularly. They're more satisfied, they're spreading their payments across the 12 months, and there's more opportunity for touch points to kind of, again, tell them about other treatments. And you can really make sure that their treatments are effective because they're coming in for the right amount. And then the final is referrals. That's more like what I call warm client acquisition. So our big insight was, obviously cold client acquisition is important. Every clinic needs to do it, but there's all this low-hanging fruit in those other 4, which it's very rare to find a clinic doing them all really well, and doing them all really well often takes a lot of time, basically, of the clinic manager. So we built PatientPerfect, inspired by some other models we'd seen in the US, and just sort of also trying to solve this problem. Do you want to flip to the next slide?
So introducing PatientPerfect and how this can be a real game changer for clinic retention.
Yeah, so the first thing I would just like to clarify is, because this comes up a lot, is it is not a booking system. It is not practice management software. There's loads of great practice management softwares out there. You know, have your pick. There's loads. We are expressly a commercial tool and about being an interface between you and your patients that increases key commercial outcomes. So just kind of putting that there, we will connect your booking system into the back end, so it links to it, but we are not a booking system. We're a growth engine, a clinic growth engine. It's essentially your clinic's own branded app. So, you know, say, I mean, there is a VL clinic. If you choose to work with us, there's a VL clinic own branded app, and there's a suite of features that are all designed to drive commercial outcomes. So first of all, there's rewards, which clients kind of expect now. They're trained to expect it in other parts of their life, be it a coffee shop or nail shop or M&S, or, you know, they're just and they love it. It really keeps them coming back. So we have a whole suite of different kinds of rewards that you can set up, and different flexibility how you set them up. There's memberships and beauty bank. So memberships, you as a clinic can program, you know, maybe it's Botox every 4 months, polynucleotides every 3 months, you know, and RF every 6 months or something for like a skin maintenance, you know, or whatever it might be. And the clients sign up, the direct debit's managed. Neither of you need to think about managing it. You both just get told when they're eligible for the next treatment. And I'm so struck how we've, since coming into the market, you find clinics who are doing this memberships but managing it all with Excel spreadsheets. It's crazy, where they've got like the list of the clients, and then like, okay, when is the thing due, and like checking the bank account, have they paid the direct debit, and it's just so much work. And so we basically take all that work off, and it all automates. And linked to the memberships is the beauty bank. So this is, again, very big in the US. And again, we see clinics doing it manually here, and we enable you to do it all automated and with a great client experience. This is basically the opposite of financing. So this might be, if I'm a patient of yours, I want to set up a subscription of £50 a month into my beauty bank, and then I come in 4 months time and I want, you know, a £600 RF microneedling and exosomes treatment. I've already got £200 put away, so the whole price tag feels less painful. And just, again, patients just like it. They just like it for some reason. It's a nice offering to have. We've got financing embedded as well, so if you want to offer flexible financing so people can pay in installments, that's an option. We've got automated referrals, Google reviews. There's a whole load of nudges which can just kind of increase your overall presence and reach. And then mobile first communication and engagement. So as you all know, email is not the same as it was 10 years ago. You know, you're going to get max open rates of 20% and engagement much less than that. For some part of your patient base, it is important and they will operate by email, but a bigger part are mobile first. You've got to be text, WhatsApp. You know, we use push notification via the mobile phone and not via email, because people's inboxes are just full of junk now, basically. So that's all designed to just get your clients having a deeper relationship with you, coming in more regularly, feeling connected, and spending more over the course of the year.
Yeah, definitely. And just one of the things before we move on to the next slide is we've got a fantastic clinic in Knightsbridge, Dr. Rita Rakes's clinic, and she does a fantastic thing with her Emerald and Everald, which is a small handheld device. She has both, and she offers free taster sessions to everybody. And the way she words it is, this is a gift from me to you. So when it comes down to like rewards-based loyalty system, that's a really good way to get someone, let's say, that's maybe coming in for a facial treatment and they're not familiar with the Emerald. It's a good way to get that cross referral in-house.
Yeah, and that's it. And again, we enable you to do that, do a kind of one-off reward to a specific patient. Maybe if they're getting married, you want to give them a hydrofacial, or as you say, you could just gift everyone a taste of the Emerald Laser, and they then feel, oh, you're making me feel special, and like you care about me, and you know you're engaged with me. It's really compelling behaviorally, basically, to feel gifted something.
Yeah, definitely. And when you're wanting to sell packages of treatments, because we all know that anything we do that's not invasive isn't just a one-off treatment. Quite often is a package of treatments that you have to sell. So it's a good way to get them trying something that maybe they didn't even think of before they came into the clinic.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that with so many treatments, there are so many amazing treatments that people just don't know enough. Like I'm a mum, I've had 2 kids. Emceller chair, you know, was game changing for me, but I probably wouldn't have known about it unless I was in the industry. And I'm definitely the case with Emerald. There's loads of people I know who could benefit from it, but and there are probably clinics near them who have it, but how do you make sure they're referring the right people in? And that's part of it, is people don't use websites anymore. Websites are important for like the first client. So they might be looking for Botox in their area, and then they go to the website and think, okay, this clinic. Once they've had that first visit, they don't tend to revisit the website to look at what you're offering. So this is another thing we offer, is it's about, okay, you've got these existing clients, they might come in for Botox or hydrofacial. How do you get them really understanding the other things you offer, which almost certainly going to be relevant to some of them? Well, it's that mobile first communication, those push notifications, you know, that place where they can look in their phone and actually really understand your offering. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Because I think a website at the end of the day should be a lead generation tool for you from people, let's say from ads. That's all it should do. When you've got about 10 different options for one concern, it can get quite confusing for somebody who isn't familiar with the options that you're discussing. So I know definitely aesthetics, we don't even have half the treatments that we offer in clinic on the website because it's too overwhelming for somebody. They just want to know that they can trust you as a clinic, they can come in for a consultation, and then they'll make the decision whether they want to stick with you or go elsewhere.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, I'm not surprised you know exactly what you're doing running a clinic, Vanessa, but that's really wise, because we also see a lot of clinics who like put so much work and money into their website, and it's just completely overwhelming, and people don't use it as a tool to decide what treatment they need. As you say, they use the consultation. So they've kind of misunderstood the purpose of it. And as you say, the purpose is just, is this clinic one I trust? And does it broadly treat the thing I need to treat, be it weight loss or be it, you know, skin laxity or whatever. So yeah, that's the role of the website. It's lead generation, that actually educating existing clients about the other things you have. That happens in clinic or mobile first, which is what we're offering. Yeah.
So what's the commercial impact by, let's say, a clinic investing into PatientPerfect as part of not their CRM system, but part of their marketing plan? What's the general commercial impact that it can have on a clinic?
Yeah. So there's a number, and we sort of a number of impacts, KPIs, and we, you know, try and track them with our clinics to make sure we're, you know, delivering that impact. We feel very strongly about delivering the commercial impact, because this isn't like a booking system. It isn't something you just have to make it work. This is only something you should have to deliver commercial outcomes. So the first is increased average client spend and number of annual visits. So you should really be getting those clients who are using the app, which is usually 50 to 70% of your client base we get on the app. You should see them spending more over the course of the year. Second is increased retention. So how many people actually come back within 6 months after their first visit? Because lots of people maybe will come for one visit or one course and then go elsewhere, or just lapse, or just. Third is increased referrals. So referral, word of mouth is the best way to acquire new clients. Obviously, it happens a lot organically, but lots of clinics, what we see is clinics notionally have a referral program. None of their clients know about it. It doesn't really ever get rewarded. It doesn't really do the job in increasing the number of referrals, because there's nowhere anyone can go to see what it is or what their reward is. So we offer that. And then recurring monthly revenue. So this is getting memberships going, and that can be memberships on treatments or treatment and product bundles, or some clinics of ours do just product subscriptions as well. And that will usually be a pickup in clinic. So they just pay the monthly fee, and then they'll come in whatever every 2-3 months to pick up their products. And then finally, improving client experience. So, you know, one thing I have been surprised by coming into this industry from elsewhere is the quality of digital experience is quite poor compared to other sectors. And I'm sure you all feel that as practitioners and clinic owners, and patients feel that. They're used to, in other parts of their life, be it their grocery shopping, you know, or whatever, just a better, more slick digital experience. So we can also offer that. I'm just going to very quickly ask the family to be a bit quieter. Sorry.
You've got a little one. She's obviously excited. It's like bedtime. I'll just touch on why the PatientPerfect apps fits in seamlessly with the Emerald, and as an Emerald owner, why it will really help to grow the business. So obviously, as I mentioned, one of the biggest issues I think we face when someone's completed a body course of treatments, they're happy with the results. It's like with laser hair removal. When you've got rid of the hair, what else can you get that patient in for? However, we all know the way the Emerald works. There's no side effects, there's no downtime, and there's so many health and wellness benefits, improving, you know, sleep, like better sleep quality, improvement in mitochondrial health. So there's so many additional benefits that the Emerald has. So if you've got, and you know, if someone's just come in and they've spent, you know, 2,000 to 2,500 with you for a package of Emerald treatments, the last thing you want to say to them is, oh, you need to buy X amount now. So the way that the app will work is it will give people obviously notifications at certain times that you can program in there to say, look, it's been, you know, 5-6 weeks since you last came in for an Emerald. You know, have you thought about having an additional one for the additional health and wellness benefits? Because one of the biggest things is the Emerald will continue to open up the fat cells, and it will continue to allow the fat cells to function as optimized fat cells should function. And we implemented this type of strategy in our clinic at VL Aesthetics. So what we have is we have basically a wellness plan. So after somebody has completed an initial program of treatments, that's either 8 or 10 Emerald treatments, and they've got the results that they're happy with, we basically subscribe them to an annual membership plan where they pay a joining fee. Our joining fee is £70 for an annual membership, and you get a welcome pack, like a goodie bag, when you join that. And within that time period, so within the 12 months, the patient gets access to preferential rates on certain treatments. So that could be preferential rates on the Emerald, the Everil, it could be on the lymphatic drainage aspect, it could then be on facial treatments that you offer in clinic. And what we've found is this has massively boosted retention, and it's increased the amount of times the client comes back in the treatment because they psychologically feel that they're getting a saving. So if you're thinking about implementing something like this, you can do that alongside PatientPerfect, and you can introduce, as Corinne's been saying, a wellness membership as part of the app, and the app will help to track that and control it really, really nicely. So it's just a good way that you're making the biggest return on investment from the device, from the current customers that already are familiar with the device and they like the device.
Yeah, exactly. It's just you can structure memberships in lots of different ways, which I can talk about. But the idea is once you've got them in and trusting you, A, want to make sure they're keeping up with some maintenance for this treatment, and B, want to get them also exploring some of your other treatments.
Yeah, definitely.
And there's so much. I would say the single biggest commercial impact we see is that increased client spend. There's so much potential for it because aesthetics has expanded into wellness and health. You know, these are health treatments. This one is at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I think that's why as a company we've done strategic partnerships with the likes of Hydrofacial, with Softwave, because of the type of treatments that you can have at the same time. But you know, it's very difficult when you're doing when you're doing the initial consultation to give the patient, you know, a full overview of everything you do in clinic, because as I said previously, it can be overwhelming. And that patient, if they're a first time patient within the clinic, they need to build up that trust with you. And that's when you can start cross-selling other treatments that you offer in practice. So as well, what we do in clinic as well, we don't just have the Emerald. That's not just the only body contouring device that we have. However, one of the beauties about the Emerald is if you're a clinic with additional body devices, the Emerald fits in really nicely because you can just add on different technologies to create an overall custom treatment plan for the individual. And then you can enroll the person after they've completed their initial course of treatments onto monthly body sculpting packages, which is quite important. Okay. Corinne, do you just want to delve into why it's important to have your own branded app? So I know everything. So let's say if someone was to join PatientPerfect, it's all within the PatientPerfect banner. However, when you log into that app, obviously you've got your own customized clinic app within there. So do you want to talk about why that specifically is important?
Yeah, I mean, it's so it's important because the whole point is it's the opposite of a marketplace. The whole point is to deepen your client's relationship with you, and it's like an extension of that. You know, the in-clinic is an opportunity to upsell, to cross-sell, get them on memberships. The idea is this is an extension of that in-clinic experience, but wherever they go, in their pocket. And so it needs to look and feel like your brand colors, your logo, images of the practitioner, exactly all your services as you want to frame them and price them. So it's very much like you, and obviously different clinics want different types of reward programs, different types of memberships programs. So it needs to work and to feel that this is my relationship with VL Aesthetics. It needs to feel like I'm visiting the VL Aesthetics, almost like it's like I'm in the clinic, but not in an app version of the clinic, if that makes sense. That's what we're going for, and that's what really delivers loyalty and engagement and upsell. So yeah, this is just we just put down a few features that, you know, it also nudges latent clients, but it's all about not coming from a generic like, okay, PatientPerfect, but it coming from VL Aesthetics, we've missed you, and have 10% off your next purchase if you've not been in 6 months or something like that. And then it's like VL Aesthetics contacting me, not with PatientPerfect, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and obviously if you were to design your own app, like, I mean, I think everyone would like to do that, but I've thought about this for years, and it's like, where do you start with something like that? It just gets it gets pushed down the list of priorities, and it's so expensive to do that.
It's just cost. Honestly, we've spoken to, I'm not going to name them, but probably, you know, in the top 1% of revenue generating clinics in the UK, even they wouldn't bother building their own app because they know it's so expensive to build and also to maintain. So this is the other thing, is there's a lot, you know, thousands and thousands of pounds every month to maintain it, to operate smoothly. So that's why it's it's one app, but clients would log into the VL Aesthetics, for example, account the first time they log in, and then they're always in that environment every time they go into it.
Brilliant.
But the thing about being mobile first is quite important. Like, people are mobile first, for better or worse. They spend all their time on their mobiles. You know, that's where people's attention is. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my phone doesn't leave my hand, like, at all. And when you get emails, it's kind of like, I've checked WhatsApps, then it's another mission to check your emails. So think about the experience for the patient as well. If you're thinking like that, you know, it's very likely your patient thinks the same. I think this is a fantastic case study of a clinic that's integrated PatientPerfect. So would you like to go into the success about how that specific clinic implemented PatientPerfect?
And we've got a number of different case studies that we can also provide on request. And what we find is different clinics use different features and focus on different features, and are kind of, you know, move the needle on different outcomes. But yeah, this example, they really drove up retention. There were actually a lot of like people coming and not staying, so really moved the needle on that. A 22% increase on number of people who returned after the first visit, and that was through the kind of actually that mobile first communication and like a better platform for engaging them on memberships and packages. Increased average client spend by 6% on the app. This is actually at the slightly lower end of some of our clients. Some are up to kind of 12%. It really varies. They had a kind of smaller client base and slightly higher spending client base of those loyal clients. And then incremental sales and promotions in two promotional periods was 13.4K. This is quite a small clinic, so for them that was significant. And then we've got other clinics where they're generating 6K a month of recurring revenue through memberships, the ones who've really made their memberships sing. Yeah, as I say, that increased client spend can be up to 12% in some cases.
Yeah, no, that's really great. And it also isn't just from a commercial aspect that it's helping your bottom line, but it's also freeing up your staff members as well.
Yeah, and this is huge, you know. And I, as a client, I get called up by clinics I've gone to, being like, "Hi, you know, just to let you know, we've got this promotion on this weekend." And I'm like, "What are you doing, calling every client? Like, that's nuts." You know, because most clients don't want to be rung. It's like, you know, my Saturday, you know, and it's just such huge labor cost. So there's that. There's also the re-engagement calls of like, "Oh, we've not seen you in a while. Do you want to book back in?" All that stuff just gets automated. You don't have to do it. Yeah.
It's so much easier.
Management of memberships, management of referrals, which just is taken away.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so here's a quick example. If, for example, you had 5 Emerald clients, each paying, you know, £300 a month for a membership, which if you think most clinics charge £200 plus for one treatment, you've obviously got £1,500 per month in recurring revenue, and then you can then refer those clients to additional treatments that you offer in clinic, all without spending additional amounts of resources on ads, which may not lead to anything pretty much, because you know yourselves as clinic owners, you make the majority of your income from your loyal patients. It's difficult to get new patients into the clinic, and if you're constantly trying to grab new patients in, that's not really a long-term strategy. You need to be, you know, making as much money from your current patients as possible.
Yeah, that's it. That's totally a way to think about it, is you're getting more people into that loyal, high spending patient camp. Yeah. From the kind of the existing patient pool.
And that's where success ultimately will be. So if somebody wanted to, you know, get PatientPerfect into their clinic, how easy is it to actually set that up?
I mean, it's super easy. We have a very hands-on team, and really pride ourselves on the quality of our like customer success team. It's really all the feedback we've had is it's super intuitive and easy to use, both for the web admin portal for the clinics and obviously for the patients. And we fully hold your hand through the whole process, train all client-facing staff in clinic, and we aim to get it up and running in under 2 weeks. Sometimes that slips a bit depending on the kind of availability of the clinic, but we can do it if they're up for doing it in that time frame.
Brilliant. So if you were, let's say, somebody who has a list of, let's say, patients that have completed a course of Emerald treatments, what would your advice be to that clinic?
I mean, as I said on the next page, well, first of all, yeah, as you say, identify those clients, and then think about structure a program which, based on what other things you have available in clinic, that could be appealing to them. And that might be what you've described at VL Aesthetics, where it's kind of like you pay a bit to be eligible for a discount. That is one model we see quite frequently. Another model is actually you pay for a certain set of services. Maybe it's for like 3 or 4 emeralds. I don't know quite how many you would need for maintenance, but maybe say it's 4 a year for maintenance, plus some other skin treatments, plus some polynucleotides and RF microneedling or something, and some hydrofacial, or as like a general skin and health annual membership. And you kind of give them that for a lower price than the ticket price would be. That's another way of selling it into them. Yeah, and so what I would do is, what some of our clinics do is they do little focus groups where they find some of their high spending clients, or those clients who've done Emerald, and they just talk to them and be like, okay, what, would this interest you? Would these kind of treatments interest you? And then they structure their membership based on that. And then we strongly recommend using a mobile first tool to then deploy the membership, because clients need something they can see and engage with. It being not something they can look at, it doesn't work for them.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, thank you so much. So this is your opportunity now to ask any questions. So any questions, put them in the chat box, please. These are some of the frequently asked questions which we will go into. So Kareem, what's the best way from your experience to price memberships?
That's a tricky one.
Question. What's the one?
And we spend a lot of time working through this with clients. Again, it depends what you're trying to achieve with the membership, because there's one membership which is the thing I just described, which is really upselling people. So you're really getting people onto more treatments a year than they otherwise would have, and there you want to basically take the list price and knock 15 to 25% off, something in that range, like making sure you're still making significant margin. And they are committing to 12 months. They're committing to that year of treatments. So you're knocking it off in exchange for the kind of guarantee of that revenue. Then there's another kind of membership we see, which is more people, you're not necessarily upselling them. They're coming in for stuff they would come in for anyway, but you're enabling them to spread the cost, pay monthly for maybe 3 or 4 treatments. And that's more just meeting a need that some of your clients may have financially, is wanting to spread the cost. And then there's the kind of VIP tier type model, which again is very popular, which is a bit like what you've described, Vanessa, which is like you pay a fee and then you get benefits. And that might be discounts on certain things, that might be discounts on products, and that might be access to events, it might be priority access to the doctor. It depends whatever your clients want in clinic. And that, I can't give you an answer on how to price it, because it's kind of like a bespoke thing, and we usually sit and spend time with the clinics. They'll tell us what they think their clients want, and then we'll kind of noodle with them what makes sense to make sure they're still making significant margin, but it's clearly attractive to clients. Yeah.
And as well, depending on where you're located, will vary on price as well.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, totally. Different demographics and different and clinics have very different treatment focus as well.
Exactly. Would you say that solo practitioners would benefit from PatientPerfect as well?
Oh yeah, massively. We've got loads of solo practitioners using it, and they benefit just as much as big clinics. Obviously, the kind of order of magnitude of the revenue they're making is different if it's a 1 practitioner business versus a kind of 5 practitioner business, but they still can increase revenue and increase retention and all of that. If anything, it's really important, because they're often doing everything themselves and just don't have time to do a lot of those retention activities. We even have some solo practitioners who are like part-time, so yeah, it totally works.
Yeah. And how would you introduce this to current clients? Like, what's the best way, if you brought this in, how would your current clients find out about this new loyalty scheme that you've got in clinic?
Yeah, so we support you in a launch. So we work out clinic to clinic what makes most sense for their launch, but kind of usually it's a combination of email, text, like you know, talking to all the clients as they come through the clinic to make sure they're downloading it. So we really support the clinics through that, because we obviously, like, our business depends on it really working for you guys and all your clients downloading it. So we're really invested in that.
Yeah, definitely. Question. Hey Nikita, how are you? So I missed the beginning part of the webinar. Can we book clients through the app and can they pay via the app? So it's not a Karina obviously answered this, but it's not a CRM system in itself. And I don't pay through the app.
Let me answer that. So you booking, what we do is there's a bit in the back, we connect you to whatever booking system you're using. We didn't add booking because everyone's already got booking. I know, like, you know, but whatever booking you're using, there are like book now buttons in the app, and we connect it to whether it's Fresher or Paboo or, you know, like ANS or whatever it is. So then they can, it says book now, and it'll just push them through to your usual booking page. So that is all in place. And yes, there is in-app payment, and that is quite an important part of it, because it means rewards can be redeemed in app. So I might earn like £25 off, and then I can redeem it against a 3-pack of peels or something. And it's a really nice experience for your patients, like a really slick experience. And also it means you can do promotions, you can do Black Friday and send push notifications out telling people it's Black Friday, you know, we're having 20% off all our everything or all our facials. And it also enables the memberships payments to roll. So yeah, it's very much a commercial tool.
Oh, that's fantastic. So if someone, let's say you stuck out an offer saying, I don't know, 20% off your Emerald Laser package, or like, you know, buy 6 get 2 free or something like that, the individual can then purchase that package of treatments through the app. But then how would the clinic know that they've purchased that through the app so that they can then sync that with their booking software?
The clinic gets notified, and there is a little bit of reconciliation that needs doing. But say I bought a 6-pack of Emerald, the clinic gets notified. So they have in their dashboard and all of this, and they get an email. And then when I come in, I'll book in, and when I come in, I should give them a QR code and a alphanumerical code, which is redeeming one of my treatments. So that's how PatientPerfect knows you've had one of your treatments and then 2 of your treatments. And then depending what their system is, some of our clients then do a bit of reconciliation where they'll like put in Paboo what's happened, and some don't. It depends whether they sort of how they manage their own system, but it tends to not be a big deal, that reconciliation.
Okay, great. Another question: how are patients or clients added to the app? Do they add themselves, or can the clinic add them with their permission? And can the app send out text emails to all clients to advise them of new services?
So the way they have to download the app, you can't sort of force it on them. But as I said, we've got a very structured and high impact method for helping you launch it. And then they're like, oh, great, you've got a loyalty and memberships app. We help you explain the benefits to them. Great, you've got a loyalty and memberships app, and then they download it. And as I said, we get 50 to 70% usually of a client base using it. You're never going to get 100%. There's always some people who just don't want it, and that's fine. So that's that. We're very confident in our system there. And then in terms of, what was the second question? It was
can the app send out text emails to all clients advising them of any new services?
Yeah, so you can, but it's by push notification. So there's some automated push notifications, and you can send out custom push notifications whenever you want. And we encourage you to use it for all sorts, including new services, new practitioners, just nudging people to, you know, get your like book in your summer skin facial or whatever, or make sure you book in your Botox before your Christmas party, like whatever you might want to nudge them in anyway, you can do that. Yeah.
And does PatientPerfect provide some suggestions of what to nudge at certain times of the year, for example?
We're working on that. We don't have it yet, but it's been a request from some of our clients. I think it would be quite valuable. So
yeah, no problem. And can clients from other clinics see offers or services that other clinics may have?
Yeah, it's a really good question. This is one that comes up because obviously it is a single app. Now, what I would say is we are in the opposite of a marketplace. So everything we do is to make it hard for your clients to see other clinics, because the whole point is we're about deepening your relationship with your patients, not somehow alerting them to other. So it's not like, it's actually quite hard to search for other clinics. We make it quite hard. And it's not like you can do like a map search, or we intentionally make it quite difficult to find your clinic, any other clinics in the app. It's not impossible though, and yes, you can technically create an account and go and look at them, but in a year of being up, we've not had that happen at all. So it's not, I think we've done well in designing it to make it hard, and it's more about, they download the app, they go into your account, and they don't really ever think about leaving it.
Okay, a question. I personally turn off push notifications when I download apps. Is there any other way people could see the special offers if they're the type of person that turn off notifications, or would you just insist on, in order to get the benefits, you've got to have the notifications on?
Yeah, I mean, you can't force people to turn notifications on. That is like something that they have the right to do, just because of Apple, you know, whatever. We are actually, it's something that people have asked, and we've started to look at. It's actually something I'm working on, is the data. So if you, whoever asked that question, email me and I'll get back to you when I've got the data on this, about both in general and also with our client base, how many people are switching off push notifications, because it is something someone asked me the other day. There's nothing you can do, but one thing we are considering is integrating an SMS service, which would then be like an alternate way to communicate.
Yeah, and just to round it up, what are the costs of having the app? Is it based on the number of clients, or is it monthly based?
It's a monthly fee. It depends on the number of practitioners and the size of your clinic. So you get in touch, because it varies a bit based on the specifics of your business. But we are offering 25% off the first 3 months for anyone who is attending this webinar. So if you're on the webinar and you're interested, just drop me an email now. It can be hello@patient-perfect.com, or Corinne, CORINNE, @patient-perfect.com, and we can talk a bit about your clinic and kind of work out what the pricing would be, because there's also a bit of informal feature-based pricing we do as well, where some clinics don't want to use all the features. Yeah.
Fantastic.
But,
so
the other thing we're offering is a complimentary commercial strategy session. So I would recommend this if you're kind of generally feeling like you would really like to be making more money and feeling like you just need a thought partner in it and aren't quite sure what to be doing. We've seen a lot across the industry, and we're all kind of in our team commercial backgrounds, and we've got a mix of just general business and like aesthetics. And so we sit and like look at your business and can just give you general advice on commercial levers, kind of aside from Patient Perfect. So yeah, if anyone's interested in that, just for people attendees of this webinar, get in touch and we can offer that. And then we're also offering 25% off your first 3 months.
Thank you. Yes, so everybody who has signed up to this webinar will receive an email tomorrow morning, and they'll receive the recording of the webinar, and all the contact details are on there. So thank you so much for everybody who joined us this evening. It's an absolutely fantastic tool for anybody who has the Emerald in their clinic and wants to really grow it to the next level. It's a brilliant tool to make sure you're generating the maximum amount of revenue from it as possible. And Corinne, thank you so much for sharing with our current clients how they can maximize ROI.
And also Emerald's a phenomenal high impact laser, and I think a lot of our clients we see could really benefit from it in their client base. So I hope to see more clients looking to invest in it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, everybody. Enjoy your evening. The sun is shining, so enjoy whatever you choose to do, and check your emails in the morning. A copy of this webinar will be sent to you. Thank you. Bye. 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 All right, hang on. I need to end 1 sec.